year ago, I published Captain Vietnam, my first official short film. How do I feel about it now? Well, let's first go back to why I made it in the first place. Back in high school, when my YouTube channel wasn't banned, I made a lot of skits, raps, and vlogs. I was only proud of a few of those videos, and I never put much effort into actually telling a story. When my channel got deleted, I lost hundreds of hours that I filmed, edited, and uploaded, both good and bad. I lost 100 subscribers, many of who were friends and many more who were strangers. So when it was banned and forgotten by the world, I went with it. I made a few more skits in the same style of my high school ones, which turned out fine, but I knew I could do better. Captain Vietnam was the first time I seriously planned a full video out. I got help from the high school friends that still talk to me. I wrote and planned it out, and then I made it and posted it as a 7-minute short film. And then I spent this last year designing artwork, filming, and posting hours worth of behind the scenes and bonus features, getting t-shirts printed, and creating Blu-ray copies. I'm giving all of these out for free, so why did I even bother? Well, there are multiple reasons I made Captain Vietnam, but the biggest one was to be a resume builder for me, and it worked beautifully. I landed 4 separate part-time jobs, and I got to work on many sets, for film, for commercial, and even for a Kanye West live event. In the last year, I started driving my car more, whether it was to work for Kanye West or to one of my part-time jobs, which actually got me free equipment, or to just hang out with old friends as well as new ones. Still, there's another reason. I didn't make Captain Vietnam just for my career. I also made it out of anger and spite. I made it to prove I was better than someone who had betrayed me and failed to credit and respect the work I did in producing their 2-hour-long award-winning theater play. I worked directly under this person every day and every night making this play.
I just thought, oh, I put out a show, that's it. Do I really need to do this board stuff? Do I really need to go out to events? I did. But I flew off to South Korea. And when I did, I forgot everything. It was an afterthought. I didn't think about it. I was so glad to be away from this OC routine life that I just did not care.
And I had to stand next to them as they skipped my name when shouting out every single individual who helped them juggle between being the director and the main character of some silly romantic comedy story that barely features any Vietnamese culture. So I did better. I created a story that actually represented my personal experiences as a Vietnamese American person. I was the director, main actor, writer, producer, the list goes on. I became Captain Vietnam, back when I felt the most alone, back when I was destined to be forgotten in the same way that someone had simply forgotten to credit my work, back when I had nothing, when I was nothing. Captain Vietnam changed that. As Captain Vietnam, I'm a more generous person. I have friends who, at least for now, I can relax around and rely on. I kept expanding Captain Vietnam, making t-shirts and eventually Blu-ray copies. I gave them out for free to everyone who helped with Captain Vietnam, directly or indirectly. And I'm not done. I still have plenty of shirts and Blu-rays around, waiting to be given out. I'm still a full-time student with many part-time jobs, and I'm still not a millionaire or a YouTuber. I'm still Vietnamese, as far as I can tell, but I'm better now. Recently, I had a chance to measure all my progress, and even compare against a certain someone in their group of friends. I realized just how much I've grown past them all. At some point along the way, I stopped making Captain Vietnam content to spite them, and I started making it for myself. When the COVID pandemic began, a certain director had to cancel the annual show, and they gave up on their second chance to create a story. But Captain Vietnam continued forward. President JFK's father once said, "Don't get mad, get even." Well, I chose option 3. I got better. I can't bring myself to be angry anymore, because what's the point? They were so small compared to me. They were ants, and why bother hating on ants? They were irrelevant now. They were nothing. The war was over. I won. So, how do I feel about Captain Vietnam now that the past is behind me? Well, judging by the short film alone, I don't love it, but I do still like it. I think it is surprisingly good in how it looks, the colors, and how it was shot, and the way it syncs up with the music and sound effects helps a lot. I think the story in general is boring and uneventful since it's just flashback after flashback, but at least it's only 7 minutes, so it's short enough. It helps sculpt the character of Captain Vietnam, but the audience should definitely see more of who he is through his own actions, since he mostly just runs, lifts weights, makes a shield, and acts mildly sad about his dad. Thankfully, I think my acting was good enough for the story, so it showed how he was sad and uncertain but determined to live up to his dad's advice and expectations. And my voice actors were great too. They make up 90% of the spoken words, and it's surprisingly great for the $3 budget we had. If I made this purely for the sake of art, for the sake of making a movie, then I would definitely be disappointed. But I didn't make it for those reasons. I made it as a resume builder, and it serves its purpose in a god-tier way because of just how much I've profited from it so far in terms of jobs and experience. And I also made it so I could prove that I could do everything that someone else had tried to do, but better. And I did. I was a better actor, writer, director, salesman, and a better person overall. I treated everyone respectfully and kindly, though I was mean when I needed to be sometimes. I also made sure to give my actors a lot of credit and follow up with them, since I'm responsible for them, professionally and personally, as they're my friends who agreed to help me for free. I also love how the Blu-rays and the t-shirts came out. These are beautiful, and I can't thank the guys who printed these enough for making my designs into actual physical merch. On its own, Captain Vietnam is nothing special. But around all these other factors, all these other hardworking people who I'm lucky to be friends with, it is special and works masterfully for the purposes I wanted it to serve. In the same way, back then, and still now, I feel I'm not really special. But thanks to the people around me who actually respect me and my work, I was inspired enough to work hard, and well, here we are. I made something. I am something. I am Captain Vietnam. But I'm not the only captain. Everyone who believed in me and helped me realize I didn't need to change who I am in order to be appreciated, they're Captain Vietnam. And that includes you, and anyone else who has watched anything related to Captain Vietnam at all. You cared enough to pay attention to me and my work, at least a little bit. So in the end, we're all Captain Vietnam.